Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to talk about 4 cool reasons that tea is cooler than coffee. Now before we begin, if you haven't been here, come visit us here in New Braunfels, Texas, between San Antonio and Austin. We'd like to meet you. Also subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't done so already so these episodes come fresh to you, and post a comment. All right, so we've talked about in the past reasons why tea is healthier than coffee, so we're not going to focus on the health benefits, which are impressive. We're not going to focus on that. Coffee, admirable drink. Tea is healthier on every level and has less side effects. We're not going to spend that. We're going to look at cool reasons from Albert's perspective. So let's just get to it. Number 1, knowing about tea or drinking tea makes you look more worldly than coffee. You're like, oh, Gregory, this doesn't matter. Hey, go to China, India, Turkey, Vietnam, Southeast Asia, Korea, Japan, Russia, keep going, more and more. You go to these places, they're tea countries, they're tea cultures. So if you walk in there to fill in the blank country, let's say you go to China, and you're like, oh yeah, I love Lapsang Seichang. Whoa, what? Stupid American actually knows something about something that's American? So it's gonna make you look smarter and more worldly than coffee, right? Because everybody knows coffee, cappuccino, espresso, blah, 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 blah. But you know about tea, smart. Now, people who come in here, especially men, we've talked about how in America, tea is seen as to be an effeminate beverage. But so the majority of our patrons here are female, but the men who do come are typically global travelers, cosmopolitan men and whatnot. So when you're traveling abroad, you're going to look more worldly if you know about tea and drink tea. Number 2, again, these are no particular order. Tea's prettier to look at. Tea is prettier to look at. What's coffee? Black, dark roasted, light roasted, it's still pretty much black. Yeah, you can put milk in it, but if you look at it's a natural liquor, it's black. It's always black. Not in tea. We're not even looking at tisanes. Tisanes have their own unique colors. Look at hibiscus, right? It's a bright red. Look at licorice root, nice amber yellow. Just look at Camellia sinensis, the 6 categories that come from it. You can go from like Mountain Dew color Gyokuro on the far left side, super green tea, all the way to the dark teas, which have a very black look, similar to coffee. So like Pu'er. And then in between, right, you have a yellow tea that looks yellow. You're gonna have the black teas that look red, because the Chinese call it red because the liquor is red. Then you look at the oolongs, which have their own unique color, which is kind of a yellowish green, and then all colors in between. So tea just has a nicer color to look at. Coffee always looks the same. Coffee. Number 3, you don't have to worry about slave history. What do I mean by that? See, the thing is, like, most people who drink coffee don't know anything about the history of coffee. Most people who drink coffee couldn't even tell you the 2 major beans that it comes from. Maybe they know Arabica. They probably won't know Robusta. They don't know what the coffee plant looks like, what the coffee bean looks like when it's still enmeshed in that red little cherry ball. They couldn't tell you the history of coffee. And why would they? Do you know the history of Coca-Cola? And we drink Coca-Cola all the time. I don't drink sodas, but most people who drink coffee, they start drinking it because Starbucks targeted them at a very young age. It was just like, coffee, good. Oh, energy. Oh, no, I crash. Oh, but I like the energy. I'm going to keep drinking it. You never look at the history. Look at the history of coffee. Slavery. Who picked the beans? Slaves. And if you doubt me, go to the History of Coffee podcast on Spotify. They'll tell you. Look, the Arabica bean, the original bean, came from Ethiopia. Then eventually went to Yemen, and then from there, it went to the Ottomans. The Ottomans started to trade it, and then it got famous, 1660s or whatnot. And then it was grown by the European colonists. So in Indonesia and Java, right? You've heard the Java coffee is nicknamed Java. That was grown by slaves. The Dutch were horrific slave masters to the Javese people, the Indonesian people. Then you see it eventually go to the Americas. Brazil, that was actual African slaves that made Brazil the #1 producer of coffee, all through the late 1800s to the early 1900s. You look at Guatemala, you look at Nicaragua, you look at every place they use either slave black labor or indigenous labor and put them on debt peonage, slavery, and doing all the horrible things. Tea doesn't have that history. Tea historically was picked by people, regular people, free people in whatever country you want to fill in the blank. No connection to slavery at all. Coffee is a slave beverage. It's like blood money. So enjoy drinking it when you drink it. The fourth reason is cooler names, right? Coffee is like, oh, yeah, espresso, cappuccino, affogato, mocha. Boring names, corrupted Italian names. What do you get in tea? Iron Goddess of Mercy, Black Dragon, Lap Song Sai Chong, Da Hong Pao, Ho Ji Cha. You get these cool names. It's just cool names. And there's more. There's tons of names. All these cultivars, whether it be from green, white, yellow, they just have cool names. Bai Mudan. That's white tea. It's one of the white tea cultivars. They're just cool names. So instead of, I want a cappuccino, frappuccino, whatever horrible Frankenstein corruption that Starbucks makes, the McDonald's of coffee, go to a tea store and be, hey man, I want Iron Goddess of Mercy. That's a power name. That is a power name. I want a Dong Ding. It's a little feminine. But tea has cooler names. So these are just 4 fun reasons, maybe the slavery's not fun, 4 fun reasons why you should drink tea more than coffee, aside from the obvious health benefits which we talked about in the past. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and God bless.